Hey, what up, my comic book peeps? It's your boy J Rocks right here. Today I'm gonna be doing reviewing a graphic novel. This one right here, just finished reading it, titled Batman Dark Knight, Dark City. I don't know why it's titled twice. You think it only be Dark City or only Dark Knight? I guess he has a lot of Dark Knight titles, I don't know. So it makes sense to just be called Dark City. But whatever. This is covers Batman issues 452, 53, and 54. That being a 4-issue miniseries story arc, where the Riddler being the main villain in that story arc. Then it also covers Detective Comics 629, 30, 31, 32, and 33. That's a one shot, one issue story. Then there's a 3-issue story, and then another 2-issue story. So those are a bunch of different stories. The main one being the Dark City, the 4-issue story arc. Written by Peter Milligan. The writing on this is really good. I'm really feeling the writing on this. I like what they do with it. It has 3 different artists. If you notice here, it says Kieran Dwyer. He does the artwork on the first story arc, being the main story arc, the 4-issue miniseries. Then Jim Aparo hops on for the one shot and then a 3-issue story arc. And then Tom Madrake does the final issue. Now the first story arc, Riddler's the main villain there, and it starts off with they're doing some type of witchcraft ritual to release some type of demon that's been trapped in a basement. And many years ago, they send this girl into that basement, and there's certain stuff the individual has to go through before they like a task they have to pass or whatever before they send them to the basement, and then they perform this ritual and this demon will possess them or whatever, right? So it starts off there. This happened in the 18th century, and then we fast forward into the modern times now. Now Batman is dealing with Riddler, and Riddler wants this demon to possess Batman, and he has to somehow trick Batman into going through all these rituals before he could do the main ritual. He has to somehow trick him and put him in a position where he does all these tasks unwillingly without knowing he's doing them. Now I like the way they get real creative with this, finding creative ways to make Batman do this stuff without noticing he's doing them. And at the end of the story, explaining, oh, this is why I made you do this. He's making them go through all kinds of obstacles that don't really make sense. And at the end, he explains, I made you do this so you could perform this certain test. I made you do this so you could do this. And you never knew you were doing all this. And now the big payoff is now we could do this ritual and just pray or whatever. Doesn't matter what you do because it's still going to affect you because you already did all these, you already performed all these other tasks unknowingly. So the writing on this is very good. It has a very like mystical, maybe Twilight Zone type of feel to it. And this guy Peter Milligan, his first book I read of his, and he really knows how to seal the deal. Like he really knows how to finish a story. He'll build up the suspense, get it going, and then he'll finish off the story with a satisfying ending. It's great stuff. The artwork on this first issue is by Kieran Dwyer. Wasn't really feeling it. It was mediocre at best. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anything special, nothing to rave about. But all in all, it was a very satisfying story, and you really see Batman like stressing out and losing his mind, trying to figure out what the hell's up with the Riddler and what's going on with all this crazy stuff he has Batman going through. So very satisfying. The cover to Batman 452. I really like it how it shows it the whole size, like how the actual cover of the comic would have been. Written Peter Milligan, artwork Kieran Dwyer. That's his name, Kieran Dwyer. This cover you see right here, obviously by Mike Mignola. I like the way they do the dark, very heavy shadings. See Batman 2 very heavily shaded. You know, Magnolia has that very unique art style titled Dark City. This is issue 453. This is the cover to 453. Typical Mike Mignola type creatures in the back over here. Very nice cover right here. A lot of zombies there. Really digging this cover. That cover looks awesome right here. You really have that horror feel to it right there. Okay, this the last one. Look right there, very blocky, like white White characters, white waist. It's issue 454. It's awesome artwork. So obviously, when you jump from this to the actual artist, let's get to the actual artist now. One of the tests he made Batman unwillingly do. See, he went to attack a clinic, and when Batman went to the clinic where they save blood, like they do, it's a blood bank. He blew up the blood, see all this extra blood vials or whatever you call them. So Riddler blows them up, and see he's filled with blood. He's showered in blood, right? That was one of the parts of the ritual. One of the tests you had to do was bathe in blood. So that's just an example of, like, see the test he's making him do without Batman knowing he's doing them. He has Batman running through hoops to set up these little tests for him. Now this last story arc is called Identity Crisis. Here it starts off with Bruce Wayne coming out of the river, the Manhattan River, I believe it was. See, he's like drowning here. And he really doesn't know, like, what the hell is going on, where's he at. He remembers he's Bruce Wayne, and he has like some bad case of amnesia or something going on. And he goes to the butler and to Robin and I believe it's Tim Drake, and he says, I'm not Robin, and then he tells the butler, only you know my secret of being Batman, and the butler's like, you're not Batman. And they see Batman on the news and so forth. So he's really confused. He doesn't know what's going on, and you as a reader, you don't know what's going on. Like, what's going on here? You know, he's having some type of out-of-body experience, and it really builds up the suspense. Because you really started asking yourself, what is going on? You start being confused along with Batman. Like, is he losing his mind or what? You know? And if he is losing his mind, then why does everybody else also not think he's Batman? Alright guys, now this book, the story arc, the writing, dialogue, all that is very good. I really like the pacing of it, and I like the way he unfolds the stories. You know, cut and dry, straight to the point. It's Peter Milligan writing. The artwork is very a lot of different artists, but all of them very similar. The artwork, none of them, they're all kind of similar. If you like one, you'll like all three. If you don't like one, you probably won't like none of the three. It's Jim Aparo, Tom Mandrake, and Kieran Dwyer. It's all mediocre, nothing that blew me away. So I didn't really bother showing too many of it. Nothing that I was really impressed with. But it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't horrible or anything like that. You know, it was okay. But there was a lot of panels where they did funny stuff with the body, like moving in ways that it's not supposed to move. And I didn't feel the panels, the way they were laid out was okay, but it wasn't nothing great. Like I see in some artists, when they're drawing the panels, it really lays down the story like in a awesome way, panel for panel, where you get the feel of the gist of what's going on without reading most of the dialogue. Now here most of the time, I never felt that way. But the writing was very good. The stories were very satisfying. The endings were great. Since it's a lot of different stories, I can't just judge one. Like if I had to just judge the main storyline, the Dark City, I would give this maybe like a 9. I really enjoyed it. It was really, really well written. But the whole book overall, the other two stories I liked them. They were entertaining, but they were not as good as the first one. The first one was definitely the best one. So I give the first story a 9, and if I judge the whole book as a whole, maybe like an 8. Because the other 3 stories that were in there were okay. But definitely you would pick this up for the first story, the main one here. Also, I think because the first few covers have Magnolia art, it has this art. And you know, you see it and you're blown away by it, like wow, it's so awesome, the colors, the dark shadings. Then you change the page and you get into the interiors, and it's a completely different art, and it's less than stellar. After you've just been so hyped from looking at this, I think that also maybe bumped me out more because you have such a great artist on the cover, and then someone not as good on the interiors. But all in all, you know, I suggest giving it a read, especially if you're a fan of that horror or suspense drama type stuff, then this will be right up your alley. If you're a fan of that and not necessarily a fan of Batman, you will like this. Alright guys, that's all I got for you today. You got any recommendations? Holler at me, let me know. Post your comments on the bottom. What you think of this story if you read it. And that's about it guys. I'll catch you next time.